Hi there, and welcome to another edition here on Busternet. On today's show, a big match against Man City. But before that, a shout out to Finn Evans. Finn Evans asked me a very interesting question on YouTube, and I think it's about time we looked at finding out who the icons of the club are. Yeah, we've had quite. I mean, if I'm looking at the legends, we've got Neil Marston. He's a legend. I remember him from a long time ago. Then we've got Tom Webb, Greg Weaver, and myself as the manager. We are legends. I don't recognize any of the icons except for Leroy Rossiner. And the favorite personnel, we've got Joe Hanks, Jack Damon, Macaulay Bone. Now, who can forget Bone and Dick Steele from last season, 2 seasons ago? Such an important part of our surge into League One. Yes, and we've got Mike Dunstan, the chairman. Everybody seems to love the chairman because naturally he's helped get us 278 million, our value, 278 million. But check out the average ticket price is £32. Wow, that is expensive just to watch a football game. Average season ticket price £652. And well, we've got 13,000 season ticket holders. Every single one of our matches is usually sold out. Our reputation has gone up. I'm pretty impressed by our impressive reputation. That's cool. In terms of where our squad is, well, unfortunately for me, Cesar Lopez has been injured. Our last couple of matches have been very interesting after that injury. We've hit it into the last week of December, usually the toughest time for me. Uh, we drew against United and Everton. We struggled against West Brom. Actually, we didn't struggle. We beat West Brom comfortably, 2-1 with two goals from Will Grigg and Craig Lewis. And then we narrowly beat Crystal Palace 1-0. A very defensive display from us in this match. Again, we played our 4-2-3-1. We won that match too. Now we have a pretty tough game against Man City coming up. I like to look at the kind of goals they scored just before I go into a match just to get a rough idea of where their threats are going to come from and how fast they move on and off the ball. Here, Liverpool were defending. They turned the thing around fairly quickly, got the ball up, then basically snuffed out Liverpool's midfield, and then went on to score their first goal pretty fast. If you look at their 4-2-3-1, it's there's a lot of movement in their 4-2-3-1. They get their attacks are very central. Um, and yes, Irigoyen, I remember him from last season. He was a very difficult player to handle. So far, it would appear to us that we need to lock down our middle, and we can't really do much from set pieces here. So we'll have to be at our defensive best against Man City. Though there's always like that sensation. I mean, at the back of my head, I know this can't last forever. And we've had a very good run, and if I got to put players like Luke Hyam on the bench, then we're asking for trouble. Now, it's important to realize that we are um overperforming with a very average bunch of players. And I think that it's going to come to a head very soon. Look at Eric Kone, 84%. He has just come off an injury. He's very tired after his last match. And question marks, can we play some of these players today? That is the big question. So we're gonna have to go on with Borthwick, Webster, Gomez, Mamija, Olmedo, Moore, Hanks, Greig, Hardy, and Lewis. This is not my first choice. And look at them, the 85%, 83%, 85%. The boys are very tired. This is a match. I'm leading my lambs to slaughter. So let's all enjoy this for a moment. Very soon I'm gonna start working on one touch tactics, but right now this will probably be the last time we use the 4-2-3-1 narrow. It's a system that is okay. I'm not a big fan of this 4-2-3-1, but I'm using it because it's something that we're okay with. But if I'm looking critically at my team, it's so dependent on like two or three players that even if I play it on fluid, it's a big issue. One, I'm depending on Olmedo. If Olmedo does not get up the pitch to support the attack, the whole system falls apart. We keep lots of good possession in our third and sometimes in midfield, but we struggle against teams with very good runners. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. Our team is very average. So that Hanks, We needed Cesar Lopez in this game. He's not available. He's the really the only player I have who can dribble. If I'm looking at Joe Hanks dribbling 8. So I need him to carry the ball, and there are lots of roles here that are very specific, that and they are needed. I mean, you got to get players in who can play those roles, and if you can't, then we have an issue. So now what I'm going to do, considering the fact that we've got Hanks here and he can't dribble, we'll have to tell him to dribble less and give him the move into channel shout so that at least he gets some off the ball movement as well. The only the move into channel shout will really only work if our friend himself has got decent off the ball. Salgo to Bernardo. Bernardo cuts inside. You can see I was right. Man City are attacking me centrally. All the attacks around this zone. They're trying to unlock my golden zone. I like to call this the golden zone, so it's easier for me um, to look at my tactics, and I recommend you do the same. If you find that you are having a tough time controlling the area in front of your goalkeeper, then you need to do something about it. We have put two defensive midfielders there, and still we can't. And so you can't do that simply because you don't have the players to do that. So what do? You try and push the control into midfield. So right now we are noticing a certain pattern. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push the boys up, higher defensive line. We're gonna go to standard, and we're gonna start playing a bit higher up the pitch because we're allowing them too much latitude around this area of the pitch. So I'm getting a bit concerned. I do like the 4-4-1-1. I've been enjoying that tactic, but this system, the 4-2-3-1 narrow with really good teams, man. I I had a dream last night when I was sleeping, and yeah, it's getting very sad. I start dreaming about FM right now, and I had this vision of players with lots of pace and off the ball acceleration in the middle, and we're just tearing teams apart. Playing with a deeper defensive line. That's it. I know that if you have those kind of players and you play with this system, it's gonna tear a lot of teams apart, especially good sides that like to push up. Then all you do is you play the ball behind the defensive line and you're through on goal. I see potential in this system. I just don't have the players to fulfill that potential. There you go. Again, James through the middle. Good block from the players. Hardy picks the ball up. That's all I can ask from the boys right now. Against all these top clubs, we've been playing this way against teams like PSG, Manchester United, Chelsea. Yep, we haven't changed our formula. Defensive throughout the game. Make it hard for them to score. Find out where they like to go through and block it up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But so far this year, we've been doing okay. We haven't lost the game yet. Playing with this strategy. Sergio Gomez out wide to Grimaldo. Again, with the boys just hoof the ball because they've parked the bus. We've parked the bus against Man City. We're not willing to take too many risks at the moment. If I push up any higher or I play with a more aggressive mentality, at the moment I could get my transitions to move up faster, but my backline is going to be exposed very quickly. And this team knows how to move the ball centrally. So, okay, why don't we do that and find out what's going to happen? All right, let's do that. We go attacking. I won't involve everybody in the transition. We'll have a normal defensive line now because I am committed. I won't pass into space anymore. And let's go. Let's see how we do in the last few minutes and the first couple of minutes of the next half. We can see Coutinho is tired, 57, 65. Everybody is a bit tired. It's been a long season. Okay, we can still come out with a win. I'll drop it under control, structured, and off we go. In FM 14 and FM 15, there was a perfect combination of mentality and shape because shape really didn't do very much in the game. So I found out very quickly that there was a golden mean. Basically, you can create any tactic and play it on control, fluid, and you win most of your games. Yeah, that was the golden mean. As long as you had the right roles and duties, you didn't have to worry. You'd have perfect closing down. Uh, you be able to attack and you'd win the game and you'd have good attacking strat you'd have a good attacking team, solid defense, and you didn't have to do anything. So it was the reason why I could go on such phenomenal long runs. It was as close to a super tactic as you could ever get one. So I would consider FM14, FM15 to be the last times that you could create systems and just PMP, plug and play, and go off to sleep. It has changed right now in FM16, FM17. It's all different right now because in today's game, we actually have to look at shape a lot more now. And kudos to SI for getting that right. We'll bring Kone on for Sergey Gomez. Uh, we have the option of bringing Colado on for Roberto Olmedo. So we can bring some players on now. Last couple of minutes. This is like having Eric Kone is like having my Eden Hazard on the bench. Okay, not bad, the boys still holding out. Have a throw in a dangerous area. Borthwick, Jackson, Moore. The whole idea was for us to try to wear Man City down while they attacked. But still, there's still a lot of football left to be played. Borthwick to Webster, Webster to Colado, Colado back to Johnston. God, I love Abel Colado. I mean, the name itself. I'm Abel Colado. So it's so corny. Visalco back to Kamara, the keeper. Anybody remember the name Titi Kamara? Yes. When you have a name like Kamara, you only have memories. Kangs. Lewis shoots. Oh my lord, we had a chance. I don't believe it. 90 minutes of patience. That's what we are planning to do. We're planning to be patient in this game. Colado, look at him. The insertion of Colado immediately gave the midfield to us. Colado is such an important player for us. Kone, well, I think there's going to be an offer for Kone, and we are reaching the January transfer window. And something tells me that clubs like Monaco, Wolfsburg, they're all looking to sign Kone at the moment. And even with a 50 million, I put a 50 million price tag on the defender. Oh, they have expressed major interest in the player. And well, if that is the case, I might not be averse to selling him off. He has requested for 130,000 pounds per week, and that's my limit is 120 for my wages. So if he's gonna ask 130, then I will let him go to a club that is willing to pay me 15 million pounds. We're trying to hit them on the counter, but so far nothing's happened. All right, we're gonna make it a bit more interesting. We're not gonna go defensive, very fluid, and we're gonna pass into space and hit early crosses. Now we're going to sit back, soak it up, and hope that there's space left over. Notice how it's dropped the possession numbers. And notice what you want to be looking at the action zones is where your team is. I know what kind of possession what kind of possession you have in which areas of the pitch. Oh my lord, we could have won this at the death. Unbelievable football. Once again, our defensive strategy is paying good dividends. I have to say, we almost had the win in the bag. Man City's run almost coming to an end. There would have been only there's room for only one undefeated team in the Premiership. It's either Manchester City or Gloucester City. Well, good result for us. Unfortunately for us, we couldn't take all 3 points. And I have to admit, this was surprising. I was expecting to lose, but look at this. Our strategy worked. We have a double DM backline, and I know that with the right players, we will dominate with this tactic. I'm pretty certain, which is the reason why I'm going to stop using it. Hanks, now let me explain why I think this 4-2-3-1 will dominate. Okay, first up, from the back, I have a very from the back line, I have a very conservative way of playing. Now, not every team is going to be able to play like that. We have short passing from the defenders. Now, what this does in a lot of games is it creates situations where you're going to punt the ball out. Now, I don't mind punting the ball out because I got four guys in the opponent's half. So it's so to me, yeah, okay, punt. If you have no other options, punt. Because if you punt the ball, they hit the ball back. Second ball, chances are I might win the second ball. So I don't really mind it. But so we keep possession amongst ourselves and then we practice long ball football. Yeah, to some extent we do long ball football. Now, the most important player in there are two very important players in the system for it to work. The first player is Olmedo, this DLP on support. He plays a very critical role. He is the only one. The two defensive midfielders have direct passing, but this guy is actually a playmaker. Now, I have to put both of them on direct passing because honestly, we don't want to tick tock too easily. Now, what we also have, when this guy plays as a playmaker, he acts like a pivot between the attackers and himself. So Greek as a attacking playmaker, so he drops deep. The supporting playmaker tends to make runs into the middle, sometimes gets on the end and joins the attackers in the final third. Then we've got this player. Why have I chosen an attacking playmaker on attack? Now, this attacking playmaker on attack I originally designed him in such a way that he is actually a final third nuisance. And if you look at his PIs locked in, they got dribble more risky passes. So this player himself, he's gonna be a magnet for the ball, and when once he gets the ball, he's going to drag people around. That's one option. So he can actually play balls into spaces. Sometimes I use a poacher, sometimes I use a DLF on attack. It all depends on my mood. In this particular case, we wanted to go with a DLF on attack. Normally I have a poacher, so we changed it to a DLF because the poacher doesn't play through balls, the DLF does. So that's the difference between the two roles. Now, whenever you want to choose a poach, you want to choose between a player up front, you have to ask yourself two very simple questions. What kind of a striker do I want? Do I want him to turn his back and lay off balls to other people? Or do I want him to turn his back and occasionally turn around and look for a killer pass? If that is the kind of striker you want, you need to look for players who have the option of doing more risky passes. Now, when it's not picked like this, that means when you see that both options are available, it means that he makes his own decisions. Now, Lewis can afford to make his own decisions because his decision making is actually 18. So I'm pretty cool with him deciding what he wants to do. Now, how should this system actually work? In a lot of the games I've created this system for, it's meant to be a spring. So when we're defending quite deep. As we drop deep, he drops into midfield. When he drops into midfield, when the AI attacks me, what do I have? I have these two guys ready to launch. So if you have players with acceleration off the ball, players with acceleration off the ball, players with acceleration off the ball, this will be a sweet tactic because it's targeting their defensive line. All three players will get behind the defensive line. And what's worse is the interplay between all three players. There's going to be tremendous one-touch passing between them into the final third to score. And we've scored some beautiful goals as a result. Unfortunately for us, we need defenses to have really slow acceleration like 12. I'm in tears, man. So what am I gonna do next season? Okay, my plan is very simple. We're still gonna keep up with the Gloucester City save, but I'm gonna be on the hunt for strikers with godlike acceleration. We did get one player. His name is Lucien Munier, but his name Lucien Munier. Okay, I mean, I got nothing against his name. All right, it's a nice name. All right, so I won't say anything about his name because cracking jokes about names lately, and it's not very nice. His anticipation, I should have gotten a play with better anticipation, maybe even concentration. All right. His acceleration is great, but once he gets the ball, he hasn't been doing very well. So we're gonna have to try. I might try him out in a few more games, maybe play him the AM attack role and see how it goes. And if he can really do well, then maybe there is life after all for Lucien Munier, who I have decided, is never gonna play for me again. So far, so good. We've done okay. Now my question is this: How do I? So Kone, he wants a new contract, but I tried to. I am not offering him a contract at the moment because the last talks they broke down. But a problem for me right now is how the hell do I find his agent? I've been trying to find out how to deal with his agent. But I don't see the information on where his agent is because I understand that there are some people out there who have managed to find a way to interact with a player and kind of game the agents. So basically, what you do is you go in and then tell the agent that you want all five of his players. You're gonna pay obscene amounts, and then you somehow or another get a discount on the player you're really after you cancel the deal with the rest. So I still am trying to find out where the agent is supposed to, where agents, all the list of agents are. So I haven't really found it. So I'm looking through everything and I haven't found where the agents are. So if any of you know how to find the agents or the list of agents, or if there is even one in the game, please let me know. I'm very, very curious. Anyway, we've had a pretty decent run, but now look at this. We got Eric Coney. He's developed extremely well. Valued now is 17.25 million. His history, I bought him for 5. Good value for money. Now worth 17 million. His value keeps shooting up. And then we got Olmedo. He's valued now 11 million. Started out at 325,000. I've done a Arsene Wenger with this team. All right, we got Taylor Moore. Oh yeah, this guy is different. I mean, I bought him at 7, so it's 9, worth 9. Hardly plays a lot of games. Sergey Gomez, free transfer, worth 8.5 million. Will Grigg, value at 1.2 million. We all know what his value is, unfortunately for him. We paid 17 million for this player. His value only at 12 million, so that's a bit of a disappointment. So he's not really worth the money. It's underperformed. What about this guy, Pablo Mafio? Mafio, this guy is phenomenal. Eh, when I purchased him, I paid quite a fair bit, 2.9 million, but he's really come good down the right flank. He's absolutely devastating. And of course, we have Abel Colado on target to becoming a legend for me. One of those players my scouts found. This is scouting. So you really need to have a fairly good scouting plan, scouting what I recommend is this. Okay. So if you want to find really good players in your team, you need to have a strategy when it comes to scouting. Now, if you're looking at my assignments, you notice I have like I've scout I'm now scouting specific countries because my knowledge of my regions has improved. So if over in Eastern Europe, I've got pretty good knowledge. These countries are all 60% already. So once you reach about 60%, what you want to do is you want to send specific scouts to these countries. So I've got Lithuania, Latvia, Slovakia being scouted individually right now, and that will bring my knowledge up. Now, when your knowledge goes up, all known players, this slot here, all known players increases. So you got all these players now showing up, and we want to find ourselves the next AMC. So what you do is you go to the first team player, and yeah, you go to next, you set. It's very important to do this. Specify the attribute values that you are after. So in this case, we want finishing of 12. So add in anything that you want, right? So once you've done that, you could create filters. We already got one sorted. The filter is up here. Then we go through the filter, pick the players. Like you gotta find some players that you need that you're gonna find some players, right? So that you're thinking about. So we found our players right now, and then scout them individually. But some of these reports will already be in. Like here we have one for Jorge Carrascal, who's a Colombian, valued at a certain price, and I plan to find players with phenomenal acceleration coming out very soon because I want these players to play in the zone, in the pocket, and take on every defense in the world and tear them a new hole. Yes, I'm being very direct with what I want. So, when you find these players, scout them again, and you have your wonder players. So that's what I do. That's how I found Abel Collado and Roberto Olmedo. Totally scouting. Said Amara was from the scouts, and this is what you need to do every season. Make sure that you have a scouting plan in place. Your scouting plan has to be simple. What you do is you hire scouts, identify regions. There are going to be regions like if you look at my notebook, when for my scouting assignments, I have these countries that I scout. I even know which scouts go to these regions. So Scandinavia, 6 countries, I need one scout. Central Europe, 13 countries, I need sorry, my mistake. So what you want to do is have a scouting plan. So I have a scouting plan. So what I do is I scout certain regions until it's 60%, stop, assign the scout to specific countries, get the knowledge up to 100%, stop, repeat, or go to a new region, do the same thing again. Once that happens, you finish that, Your knowledge goes up, you get better players. It's as simple as that. But some regions they need more than one scout. Eastern Europe has got 22 countries. I have three scouts actually presently. They haven't updated the last name just yet. Scandinavia, six countries. I've usually put one scout. Central Europe has got 13 countries. This in brackets just means how many important countries are there within this region. So the important countries in Central Europe, there's seven. So once I finish Eastern Europe, I'm going to send all my scouts to Central Europe to get that done. So this is what you need to do when it comes to scouting. You absolutely need to be out there looking for the best players. And for LLM sites, this is very important. If you are one of those guys who loves to do consecutive promotions, believe me, you don't have facilities to groom your own players. So we are at least another 4, maybe 3 years away from academy training internally. So every season, what I end up doing is I buy players. I buy players who have good current ability. Well, this brings us to the end of another Gloucester City episode. Yeah, too bad we couldn't win. It was another one of those draws, defensive draws, and such things do happen. But it was at least a match where we learned a few things as well about how our system can be further tweaked. We're hoping to get back to winning ways, but a lot of it really depends on the players that you have. We don't really have those players to get those phenomenal wins, but I'm pretty sure we will soon. Until we meet again, you guys have a good one. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, Twitter at BusterNet or addicted2fm.com, our website. Once again, if you want more information on how you can join a Patron community, we have about 270 over members already. It's growing by every single day. It's unbelievable. Thank you to all my patrons who are continuing the support of this channel. Please visit www.patron.com/BusterNet for more information on how you can become a patron and join our Discord community for regular discussions about Football Manager. You guys have a good one. Take care, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.